Say hi, Pumpkin. Hi. So we're going to have cuteness in the shop today. Today, instead of my normal tutorial type, whatchamacallit, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be doing someone else's makeup. This is my mother-in-law, Tina. Say hi, Tina.
Hi.
Okay. So you'll see me in, well, let me turn this around. In and out, maybe, I don't know. As long as you see her face, it's fine. My face is not important. So today I'm going to start out with her eyes instead of her face because I will be using this palette right here, my Younique Moodstruck #1 Addiction palette, and the glitter the glitter shimmers tend to have a little bit of fallout, so I don't want to have her other part of her face done and then have to deal with that. So yeah. So I'm going to get started by priming her eyelids with concealer that apparently likes me. I'm going to be using the Rimmel Match Perfection highlighter and concealer just because I feel like it. Instead of using an eye primer, I'm going to use this. Just going to take that on a flat brush and apply it to her eyelids. Oh, and this is going to be a long video, so just pause it here and go grab a snack. I'm going to use my Real Technique sponge to just help me blend it out a little. It's going to be a little chilly. And to set that, I'm going to be using the shade Elated from the Moodstruck palette. I'm just going to take it on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to floof it all over the lid. This will help too if you use a primer like the MAC Paint Pod. If you set it with just a very light eyeshadow shade, it will help soften it out. So you're not purposely giving yourself a crease that you don't want, because that ain't cute. And then for a transition shade, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Beautiful Browns palette. If you watch my channel, you know that this is my favorite palette of all time. I'm going to be using the lightest brown. I'm going to load the brush up with that. Excuse you, Pumpkin. And I'm going to buff it into the crease. Whoa.
Yep.
Really? You think so? You do? Yeah? And to darken up, sorry, I'm in your way, I know, but it's okay. To darken up the crease, we're going to go back into the Moodstruck Addiction Shadow Palette, and we're going to go in with, where'd it go? Chipper, which is just a very pretty chocolatey brown. I'm going to grab a smaller, detailed, fluffy blending brush. This is the e.l.f. blending brush. The other one doesn't have a name. I know, it's stupid. I agree. Okay. Shiz happens. We're initially just going to kind of add that on top of our transition shade. Ideally, the transition shade, what it does is it Makes it easier to blend out other shadows. I was gonna do a halo eye, but changed my mind. Decided to do like a chocolatey brown smoky situation. And as always, if you hear noise in the background, it's Elizabeth. To further define the outer portion of the crease, I'm going to go in with Forthright, which is an even darker chocolatey brown shade. As I like to say, the first one I used was milk chocolate. This one is dark chocolate. You really want to focus on the outer V. And then whatever product that you have left over on your brush, you can kind of buff into the crease just so it doesn't look like you have a big blotch and then nothing in your crease. Get around a little bit. Yes, baby. Really? I'm gonna go back in with my really fluffy blending brush just to make sure that everything is blended and incorporated nicely. We don't want any harsh lines. Elizabeth. Now for the lid color, I do believe I'm going to use, oh, whoa, monkey. Let's not do that. I'm going to go in with the color Brassy from the palette, which is just a very pretty gold, Elizabeth, shimmery situation. And you can absolutely wet your brush if you want more of a pop. But I feel like these shadows alone make such a gorgeous color statement that I don't feel like you need to wet them. But I will wet the brush just to show you the difference. Monkey, quit. No. No, you play with yours. Okay. Okay, you let me know how that works for you.
Done. Done. Do you see it now?
Just makes this stand out just a little bit more. Like I said, these shades are absolutely gorgeous alone.
Done.
Elizabeth, put it back. Typically I have this stuff out of the reach of my child, but today I do not. No, thank you. So now that the lid color is done, I'm going to go back in once more with the fluffiest brush that I have. I'm just going to make sure that everything is blended, that there are no harsh lines anywhere. And the next step that I'm going to do is her brows. And today I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Paris Brow Stylist Defender in Brunette. If you watch my channel, you know that I really don't like to do the whole fleek brow thing, whatever they like to call it. I just like to fill in the bald spots. More of a natural brow type myself. Elizabeth, if you think I didn't see you take that, you're crazy. Put it back. That's your juice. We're just going to come through the product. I feel like the whole brow on fleek movement thing started last year, but before then it was just like, nobody cares if your brows are on fleek. Nobody cares. Okay, brows are done. Pop lids back on this guy. Now for brow highlight, just going to go back into the Addiction palette, and I'm just going to grab Elated, the same color that I, seriously? What did you not call? Thank you. The same color that I dusted all over the Leche set, I'm going to use as the brow highlight. Okay. I'm not going to mess with eyeliner today, simply because I think the eyes are dramatic enough as it is. I don't feel like they need anything else done to them. If I were to do anything, I would do a nude liner in the waterline, because her eyes are on the smaller side and they are a very bright, beautiful blue. So that nude in the waterline is going to make them go, well, my gloss is not letting me do it, but it makes it go pop. So all that's left to do on the eyes is mascara. And today we're going to be using the Maybelline the Colossal Volume Express. Well, if I didn't drop it, we'll be using the Colossal Volume Express. This was in my favorites video that I posted a couple of days ago. It has become my favorite drugstore mascara. I always make a really big mess with mascara. I feel like mascara hates me. See, like that? Yeah. Good news is if you do that with mascara, it's very, very easy to clean up. Just let it dry for a minute. And now you have mascara on your fingers. That's alright, when your dad gets out, he's going to have to change diaper. Okay. Lie down. Kit. Elizabeth. Hey, babe. What did she say?
Elizabeth.
Come on, go see Daddy. She stuck her finger in mascara. This smooch. I put it right there. So next, we're going to get started with the face. For primer today, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. If I'm not using the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm, I'm using this. Because it fills in fine lines, it fills in pores. It gives you a really smooth base to work with, which is awesome. I use it because I have humongous pores that I just cannot deny. I'm going to pin her hair back so it's not covered in foundation, because that's just not cute look. The screams in the background was not because the child's being tortured. She has a poopy diaper. Pump this on the back of my hand as I wipe my concealer that's on the back of my hand off. This is the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation, and it is in warm beige. I'm going to go in with the Morphe M439 brush to start off with. I usually end up going back in with a sponge, just because I feel like when you're doing makeup on other people, any type of sponge works best. But I do like to first apply it with a brush. When you are color matching clients, an easy way to tell their undertones is if you have pink undertones, have them go outside and look at the veins on the inside of their arms. If your veins are blue, then you have pink undertones. If they look more green, then you have like an olivey yellow undertone, and if you can't really tell, then you're neutral. That's an easy way to tell what kind of undertones your clients have. But you really only have to worry about that if your client's more on the pale side. Miss Tina here's not. She's very tan. Which is a plus for me. This foundation is not, I would say it's more like a light to medium coverage. It's very buildable though. So when I finish putting on this layer, I could go in with a second layer, but if I do, I will be using my sponge just to make sure that everything is flawlessly blended in. Yeah. So now I'm going to go in with my sponge. I'm going to use the flat bottom side. This is a Real Technique sponge. I'm just going to make sure that everything is buffed in.
Close it. No, ma'am.
Take it to Daddy.
Thank you.
And if it's still tacky, don't worry about it because we're going to set it with powder. So it will definitely be completely blended in. It does. At least she's grabbing stuff that I've already used now. That's nice. To highlight with, I'm gonna make the staple over here. I feel like it's gonna be of use to me over here. To highlight with, I'm gonna use a concealer like I would normally. I'm gonna go in for the under eyes. I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This is a treatment for dark circles. I love this concealer. I actually feel like it really works. It definitely covers my dark circles. And if you've seen me do any type of video
No, ma'am.
without makeup on, you know my dark circles are bad. So to highlight with, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I'm just going to put a few little stripes. And then down the nose, the forehead, the chin, and the Cupid's bow. Those are the high points of the face. I'm going to go in with my Beauty Blender Real Technique sponge and just blend all that out. Open and look up. To set her face, I'm actually going to bake a little bit. I'm going to use the Airspun powder in translucent, and I'm just going to dip my sponge in it. And then go like this. Everywhere I put concealer, I'm going to do this. It definitely sets your concealer. So it really is an amazing powder because it prevents creasing anywhere, which is why I love it so much. And it's very inexpensive. So we're just going to let her chill for a minute and let that sit. Also, if you were to want to carve out your contour, you can apply it down here, right on these points of the chin, which there's nothing on this, so you're not going to see it. And that will really carve out your contour. For her bronzer today, we're going to be using the Illuminating. This, because her skin's so dark, I could actually probably use this as a highlight because that's what it's meant for. But they sent me the wrong one when I actually ordered the Cindy Luminizer, and they sent me the Betty one, so I'm using it as a bronzer, and I actually really like it as a bronzer. And then for contour, we'll be using the Wet n Wild contour palette in Dulce de Leche, or Dulce, yeah, Dulce, I don't know. What he said, it's this one right here. It's got the contour powder and then the cream shade.
You say I'm too white.
For highlight, we're going to be using the e.l.f. Shimmer Facial Whip. And then to top that, we'll be using the Wet n Wild, what's this called? The Illuminating palette in Catwalk Pink. The face shimmer is in Lilac something? Lilac Petal. Really, ideally, you only have to let this powder sit for 2 to 5 minutes, and it really does its job. So I'm just going to take a really fluffy face brush. This does not have a nude. And I'm just going to sweep it away. access that you have on your brush, that's what you're going to set the rest of the face with. It's got powder on it. Now on camera, it is coming off like she has white patches underneath her eyes. She really doesn't. It just looks like that, but we're going to fix that. I'm going to take the Wet n Wild contour palette. I'm going to take that cream shade. I'm going to pop a little bit of that under there. Just so if there's any powder left off at all, it will come off. And it will finish doing the highlighting for me. Now we're going to go in with the bronzer. I'm going to take the same big fluffy brush that I took to sweep away your face powder, and I'm going to dip it into the Illuminizer. Just going to warm up the sides here. If you use a big face brush, it makes it easier to blend it out, so it's not harsh. And the idea of this is, like I said, just to warm up any places that would be a little too light. I'm going to look a little light anyway because my concealer is a little light for her. I didn't have any darker, but that's alright. We gonna make it work. We gonna make it work. And then we're gonna go ahead and contour with the Wet n Wild palette. I like to use a e.l.f. blush brush for this, the pointed one, this one right here, because it works like you wouldn't believe. This can be kind of powdery if you use the wrong brush for it. And what you're contouring is the cheekbone. You just kind of want to follow down on the cheekbone. And I do make it a little dark, and then because when I put my blush on, I blend the two together, so it's not, it won't be as harsh as it's coming off. And I like to contour the bottom of the jaw. Whatever I've left on the brush, I do go up to the temples with. So for blush, we're going to dip into the e.l.f. blush palette. This is the one in light. I'm assuming because they have a light, they have a medium. I'm not totally sure, but this is the palette itself, and I'm going to mix this one and this one together. Mainly the lighter shade, because I kind of want to brighten the face. I don't want to darken it too much more than it already is. Pop this on. When I finish the other side, I'll go back in with my face brush and clean it up a little bit. I'll go in with my big face brush. I'm going to blend the two together so it softens everything up. And then for the highlight, I'm going to go in with the facial shimmer first. And I just like to squeeze bit of it onto my hand, and then I will use my Real Technique sponge, the bottom flat part of it, to apply it. Because if you don't, and I like to dab it on my hand like this, because if you don't, you get a really harsh highlight line on your face, and it's not cute. I did it the other day and was not happy. So essentially you want to dab on the tops of your cheeks and then up to the temple. Just like that. See the highlight? Ooh, highlight on fleek! I love this stuff. It's amazing. It's only like $2 for this, so that's nice. And all we're gonna do with the illuminating palette is kind of set it. I'm gonna do the tip of the nose, and up the nose. We'll do the rest with the palette. So I'm gonna dip into that palette. I'm gonna mix the two bottom shades together, just like this, and then just brush it on. And you do work with a lot of powders. So what I like to do is I have a mist and set that I'm going to spray on her after I finish this part. And that's going to kind of moisturize the face a little bit so it's not quite as powdery, so it doesn't look cakey. I'm going to go ahead and do that as soon as I find it. My child stole it. And I want to do this before I do the lips, just to assure that we don't mess up the gloss. Either way, you can do it after, it doesn't matter. I'll let that dry. Use this right here. Also sets everything in place so it doesn't slide or move. Okay, now for the lips, we're going to do a little bit of lining with the e.l.f. liner in Natural. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. When you first buy this liner and you actually use it, I was very kind of iffy about it because it wasn't very creamy. But it's like you have to break through the shell. So the second time that I used it, it was so much better than the first time. But it's such a beautiful color. It really goes with just about anything. I've used it with a couple of different glosses. My favorite way to use it is with the in the Nude lipstick, which I'm actually going to be using today. I'm not going to fill them all the way in, just a little to the sides. So we're going to go in with the e.l.f. in the Nude Moisturizing Lipstick. Then I'm just going to dab a little bit of gloss on the middle. Well, on the bottom lip. Just to brighten things up a little bit. Alright, that completes this look. I will zoom in so you guys can get a zoom. Ooh, I just found out tear her hair out. So you guys can get a zoomed in look. Cat pumpkin. Where's the... Here's the eyes. Turn your face to the side so you can see the highlight. The highlight's on fleek. The highlight's on fleek. So yeah, that completes this look. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos coming soon. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!